The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday morning and all that good stuff. Me and Pedro hold it down again today. So good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Conspiracy Thursdays, as we call it.
All that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. I haven't heard from everybody. I hope Brittany's fine and all that good stuff. I haven't heard from her. I probably need to check on her, as well as Carol. But hopefully they're doing okay, and I hear from them soon. But other than that, man, it's chilly outside.
Yes, ice breaking wind, like you could feel it in your bones.
Man, this is well, it's that time of the year, so I don't know why I'm tripping, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cold all across the country right now, so it's that time of the year, like I said. So
Yeah, something about an Arctic wind blowing or something like that they were saying. But it is cold out there.
yeah, I haven't checked the latest updates. I know we did the article was it early this week, last week, whatever it was, about the heavy snowfall down in the South and all that stuff.
Yeah, in Florida.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was all over Florida, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
It was northern Florida, Georgia, all that kind of stuff. Louisiana, but they was crying about 10 inches, but they don't get snow. So
Yeah. So that's it's weird activity.
yeah. That's so. But hopefully everybody's staying warm, and the public utilities are holding up, and they're able to keep their lights and their heat and all that stuff going on, and we definitely don't need no more mishaps like we had a couple of years ago back in Texas. So
Oh yeah, the power grid and stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, that was sad, man. People burning their furniture and all that other kind of stuff just to stay warm. That was some sad stuff right there, man. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got no interest groups today, of course, being the end of the week or end of the month. We will have movie night tomorrow, so we'll talk about that a little bit more in the morning. But we got a variety of articles for you this morning. And hopefully you guys enjoy them. I mean, we're just trying to bring out some stuff to, keep folks aware of what's going on within, the country and stuff like that. So let's jump into this first one. I think this one's going to, I don't know, maybe it'll shock some people, maybe it won't.
Today on Coffee Time, voter suppression, democracy under siege. Coffee Time crew, what in the world is going on? We always hear about democracy, free and fair elections, and the will of the people, but what happens when millions of voices are systematically silenced? Today, we're exposing the sneaky and downright predatory tactics being used to strip people of their fundamental right to vote. The suppression bombshell. Investigative journalist Greg Palast recently revealed that Vice President Kamala Harris could have secured 286 electoral votes in the 2024 election if not for widespread voter suppression efforts. That's right, 3.5 million voters were effectively erased from the system. And let's be clear, these weren't just random votes. The vast majority came from communities of color, young voters, and lower-income Americans who were systematically targeted through legal loopholes, bureaucratic hurdles, and outright deception. The playbook of voter suppression. These efforts aren't new, but in recent years, they've been fine-tuned to near perfection. Here's how the system is rigged. Mass voter purges. States like Georgia, Ohio, and Tennessee have quietly removed hundreds of thousands of voters from the rolls. Some were told they missed an election, which is not illegal, while others were falsely flagged as non-citizens. Tennessee alone sent 14,375 letters demanding proof of citizenship, putting naturalized citizens at risk of losing their voting rights due to bureaucratic red tape. Unlimited voter challenges. In states like Georgia, anyone can challenge an unlimited number of voter registrations. That means a single person, often aligned with political groups, can file thousands of complaints, delaying and ultimately blocking legitimate voters from casting their ballots. Strict voter ID laws. Millions of Americans, especially the elderly, low-income individuals, and people with disabilities, lack easy access to government-issued IDs. The real kicker? Gun licenses are often acceptable, but student IDs are not. The bias is crystal clear. Early voting and drop boxes slashed. In key battleground states, officials removed ballot drop boxes, shut down early voting sites in minority neighborhoods, and limited voting hours, making it nearly impossible for working-class Americans to vote. Misinformation and intimidation. Some states have mailed official-looking letters falsely claiming voters are ineligible, while others have stationed armed officers at polling places, an intimidation tactic reminiscent of Jim Crow-era voter suppression. Who really wins? Let's be real, this isn't about election integrity. It's about power and who gets to keep it. If elections were truly about representing the people, there wouldn't be this level of effort to suppress votes. The system is being rigged in plain sight. But we can fight back. Civil rights groups and voting rights advocates are filing lawsuits, mobilizing voters, and educating the public on their rights. But this fight needs all of us. Coffee Time crew, what do you think? Are these tactics protecting democracy or killing it from the inside? Have you or someone you know experienced issues trying to vote? Let's discuss. Your voice matters. Now back to the Coffee Time crew.
Well, I say voter suppression is real. Aside from, accessibility issues, I'm not going to say I've had a whole lot of problems, but even that's an issue. If if you're not accessible for, our community or whatever the case may be. But again, just to, reiterate, I remember, leading up to the 24 election and the folks in Georgia changing some of their rules and stuff down there where, they can, challenge all of these different voter things. And like the article says, if you align with one particular party, if you're that strongly aligned, I don't think you should be actually working within the voting system that way, to where you actually have the ability to say, okay, well, because all ballots, you can tell whether they're Democrat or Republican. Okay. So at a glance, they can say, okay, well, this is a Democratic ballot. Let me challenge it. Okay, this is a Republican ballot. Let me go through. That stuff is not cool, man. It's not cool at all, but
And having an unlimited challenges is another thing. So you get a lot of
right.
ballots thrown out. You also have mail-in ballots being suppressed also.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff being suppressed. Again, whether it's the mail-in ballots, whether it's these people sitting there picking and choosing which ones they want to challenge, or whether it's, like you say, wanting to, in certain places, eliminating drop boxes and, early voting and all that kind of stuff, it's just crazy, man. And like the article says, if this is not about democracy. This is about some people just trying to suppress the vote so they can stay in power. I mean, we're talking about 3.5 million votes, okay, that were predominantly, black and brown folks, students, young folks, and,
Low income,
low income
seniors,
folks,
disabled people.
all of
So
that.
so imagine going to the ballot box. You sign that you turned in your ballot, but your signature was off or tilted or over the line somehow, some way. They could challenge that and get your whole vote thrown out.
Right. Oh, you forgot your middle initial or something like that. Whatever. It's just stupid the way that they've got this stuff set up to these ballots that they can throw out. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
it's really 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 sad. And here's proof now. I mean, this gentleman, he didn't win. He said, hold on, how did this man actually win? Right. So he went and he started pulling public records, which we all can do from these, especially like the swing states and stuff like that, right? And he started pulling all these records, and then he's looking at the little petty reasons why these ballots were discarded,
Yeah.
or purged, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this other thing, about missing an election, that's not against the law.
That's
Maybe I
straight up lying, though.
Right. I mean, again, I just because what I couldn't make up my mind this time around. So I'm not voting this time. But next time around, I'm still registered. Here's Pedro. Here's the thing that gets to me, dog.
Mm,
The government has the resources. The states have the resources that once you register, they have the resources to verify exactly who you are, right? Before the election rolls around. Okay, so bottom line, if they can't verify you, if they can't vet you, as they like to say, right,
mm-hmm,
then you don't get a ballot.
mm,
I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, but they got the resources to be able to do that. Why are they making us jump through all the hoops to prove
mm-hmm.
who we are when they have the ability to verify who we are?
Yeah, and also the article states that she would have passed the threshold of 270.
Well, yeah, she would have got 286, according to
Yeah.
what
According
with the if she would have got those 3.5 million votes that were
to
taken
the
from the rolls.
mhm.
So I mean, it's just it's
Also,
crazy.
there is a misconception that Trump won from a landslide, including the popular vote. It was thin. It was real thin, you know. And these
Right. But
votes,
you know how his ego is, man. Whatever it is, it's the biggest ever, and this
yeah,
and
but
that.
we don't care. We don't care about his ego. The truth and the facts are the facts. It was by a small margin, so these votes really did matter. Them getting purged is un-American. For
Well,
any if any both parties, it goes for both parties. If you're purging votes and you're off a little petty stuff, trying to keep power and making it a enemy versus enemy thing, they're lost. They're lost. They need to go retire. They need to get out of politics because this is different views coming together to make the system work for the American citizen. That's why they're there. They're
I
there for
mean,
us.
I know one of the main reasons they're doing all this suppression stuff is because, I mean, I hate to go here. Folks on the right are a minority. I mean, in America, folks on the left are the majority. So the only way they can win is to suppress the votes and eliminate votes from the left. So they, in their mind, we're leveling the playing field. No, you're stacking the deck is what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to get somebody's vote, how about you do the right thing? How about you do something for the people? You know what I'm saying? How about you try
Exactly.
to help the average American? You
Yes.
know, so I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, man. So another thing that was in there was crazy. Like we were talking about a voter ID and stuff. So they'll accept a license from a firearm, where you permit whatever, but they won't accept a student ID.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
it seems like we're living in a backwards world.
Well, I
Or
mean, they're
s-
trying to take us backwards, Pedro.
yeah, it's like a gun license. Yeah, you could show your gun license. Okay, here you can vote. Here you go. But a school ID from a student? Come on.
I mean, it's crazy.
And
It's
and
just
and we
totally just
it's,
outrageous.
yes, it is outrageous, and we want our youth to participate, to be wanting to vote in every 2 years, 4 years for the presidency. We want them to be uh um to pay attention, to be into politics, to do something, to make change. Because the more the youth and the more citizens are into politics, the more we are aware as a society and as the public what they're doing. These people that have been p- uh, uh, voted in by us, that work for us, and the more we stay informed, you know, the better we can make decisions. The better we can be informed of the issues. But don't get me wrong. Watching a basketball game or a football game is, hey, I'm all for that. But you need to know and pay attention to what's going on in the world because it does affect everybody. It affects from seniors down to toddlers and babies.
I mean, and again, we do want our youth to get more involved. We want them to be more engaged. I think that it's important for younger Americans to get involved with politics. I think it's important that we have younger folks rather than elderly folks in DC. Folks that are looking at where the state of the country is right now. And recognizing that we need to make changes here, make changes there, whatever the case may be, right, to make it a better country. I mean, it's already considered to be, by most folks around the world. Everybody wants to come here, but we're not perfect, right? But as long as we got a bunch of old, folks up in DC, then they're trying to hold on to the past. They're not ready to move into the future. I mean, if that makes sense. I
Well,
mean,
they want the status quo to remain.
well, this is true, but they've been wanting it to remain, to the status quo to remain ever since the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
are people that have just been determined, generation after generation after generation after the Civil War, they just want to go back to the way things were before the Civil War.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. That's yeah. Some people like that. I'm saying more in the Democratic leadership. Like we have to kind of look at our party. We're the ones that just lost the election, and I feel that the Democrat Party, the leadership, it's not prepared with this new Trumpism way of politics that's going on. You know what I mean? We need somebody that is able to catch attention, make a viral video go viral that is in politics. And we do have some Democratic senators and House leaders and that are in the Senate. I mean, that can gather those eyes, that public attention, those public viral moments. And I feel like um, we're we're tripping over each other in a way in the Democrat Party because then you have the leadership that don't want to step aside and let a younger or someone that has more pull, you know.
I mean, I agree, Pedro, but again, I want to kind of put the the right versus the left thing aside, right, for a minute, just for a minute, right. Bottom line, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done that both sides can agree on, okay. But we got one party that's no, it's our way or the highway. They don't want to come to the table. They don't want to negotiate. They no, we want this, and that's final. You know what I'm saying? So there's no give and take, and that to me is the major issue within, what's going on right now. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans out there right now that don't necessarily believe what old boy's trying to do, but
Mhm.
they're so scared to go against him because they don't want to lose their political career
Mhm.
behind it, that they're willing to go along with whatever just to, just so they can keep their job.
Yeah, yeah. That's something about the Republicans. When they have a narrative and they want to stick to a message, they're able to stick to it. Even their media, like their Fox News and their what so-called independent media, like Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, and all them that I don't consider independent media because they get paid by sponsorships. $1 million show like the Joe Rogan gets money. Tim Pool just got caught accepting money, and he was like, "I thought it was from a oligarch billionaire, but it comes out to be from Russian ties." So, you know, so beware about the independent media label. But the point I'm trying to say is they get in lockstep and then they try and drive that message home over and over, and they won't dare to say nothing against the big dude. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, right quick,
We,
Tisha says good morning to everybody, and then Katie says, bottom line, if you're 18, you're able to vote,
mhm.
and you should vote. I mean, it's even the sad part. It is hard to get the 18-year-olds to engage and pay attention to what's really going on because I mean they're just starting off in life. They're trying to get their life together. Then
They
they
got
stuck in
freedom.
them. Yeah, they got all that freedom right now. They just became an adult, and oh
I'm
man,
18, no curfew. I remember
right.
being
It's party
18.
time.
Yeah. And in that note, guys, let's cut to a break.
Do you need assistance with iOS? Or are you curious what iOS is? Perhaps you're seeking tips and tricks on how to use JAWS on your Windows machine? Or maybe you would like to participate in our popular support group led by Dominic? Or maybe join us for movie nights on Friday where we watch and discuss the movie of the night? For more information, please email us at info@blindunited.org. Once again, that's info@blindunited.org. You can also follow us on Facebook for real-time updates and community interactions. We look forward to connecting with you.
Do you need to talk? Are you struggling with your mental health? Are you struggling with substance abuse issues? Call the Orange County NAMI Warm Line. That number is 877-910-9276. That number again is 877-910-9276.
All right. Well, welcome back. And this next one we got up for you guys. I mean, it's crazy. The big thing, AI right now, then for those that are not in the know, AI has actually been around a very long time, but it's just recently in the last year or two, been more available to the, common folks, if you will,
The public
right?
sector.
Right. The public sector. I mean, corporate America has been using this stuff for years, but
Hmm.
I want y'all to check this article out because for me, anyway, it shows again, it just points out corporate greed.
Today on Coffee Time, is big tech in trouble? The rise of DeepSeek AI and the future of AI investment. Let me tell you, Coffee Time crew, what in the AI world is going on? While tech giants have been pouring billions into artificial intelligence, a new contender has entered the ring, shaking up the competition. Meet DeepSeek AI, the cost-effective AI model from China that's making waves, not just in the tech industry, but in financial markets as well. Today, we're diving into what this game-changing AI means for big tech, government funding, and the future of AI development. DeepSeek AI, the cost-effective disruptor. DeepSeek AI's R1 model, launched on January 20th, 2025, quickly climbed to the top of Apple's App Store, surpassing competitors like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. But here's the real shocker. It's not just about its performance. It's about the cost. While companies like OpenAI and Google have spent hundreds of millions, sometimes even billions, on training their AI models, DeepSeek AI was built for just $5.6 million. That's right, a fraction of the cost. And yet, benchmark tests show that DeepSeek performs just as well in math, coding, and reasoning. This raises serious questions. Has big tech been overspending on AI? The fallout, NVIDIA's historic stock drop. With DeepSeek proving that AI development doesn't require billion-dollar budgets, investors have begun questioning the true value of major AI companies. The result? A massive sell-off in AI stocks, including NVIDIA, which saw its market capitalization drop by a record-breaking $593 billion in just one day. For years, NVIDIA has dominated the AI hardware space, providing the powerful GPUs used to train AI models. But if companies can now build high-performing AI on a budget, does that mean NVIDIA's golden era is ending? Trump's response: tariffs and protectionism. Adding another twist to this AI drama, President Donald Trump has proposed new tariffs on Taiwanese semiconductors, a move that could directly impact companies like NVIDIA, which relies on Taiwan's TSMC for chip production. The reasoning behind these tariffs? To push AI chip manufacturing back to the U.S. Meanwhile, Trump's administration is also considering more export restrictions on advanced AI chips going to China. But with China already developing its own AI breakthroughs, some experts believe these restrictions may be coming too late. Where does this leave the tech billionaires? For years, the AI race has been dominated by billion-dollar budgets, but DeepSeek's efficiency challenges the entire narrative. If a small startup can build a state-of-the-art AI model for under $6 million, what does that say about OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft, companies that have relied on massive government and investor funding? Could it be that the tech leaders of AI were overspending all along? Were those billions truly necessary, or was the industry caught up in its own hype cycle, justifying excessive budgets? The future of AI: leaner, smarter, more efficient? DeepSeek's success suggests that the future of AI isn't about who spends the most money, but rather who builds the most efficient models. This could reshape AI investment, leading to white heavy checkmark less money funneled into bloated corporate labs. White heavy checkmark more funding for small, agile teams. White heavy checkmark faster, leaner AI development with lower costs. What do you think? So, coffee time crew, is this the end of big tech's monopoly on AI, or just another shift in the game? And what happens to all those billions already poured into AI development? Was it all wasted? Let's hear your thoughts. Join the conversation and tell us what you think. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Well, as far as all them billions already spent, I hate to say it, but that's already in them people's pockets.
Yes, yes. Um, in my opinion, the overbloated budgets and I believe sometimes, and it happens not just in tech, but in certain other sectors in tech and other sectors. Period. Sometimes they know they're gonna get subsidized by the government, and they charge the government more. They ask for more, and they get more. You know, and
They
this is
inflate their
hmm
projected cost
yeah, they inflate.
in order to get more money from the government.
Yes, and DeepSeek is just proven that it can be done under $10 million instead of over hundreds of $1 million, even up to $1 billion. It could be done more efficiently. Uh, According to the reports, um, more efficiently with more less chipsets. So we still have to get more findings in that. Um, but even on the performance and the bench marks it had and the performance, um, it's showing it just showing that you can make a artificial intelligence in a good budget and not overinflated. Also, we just heard that there's gonna be money going invested into AI to bring it to bring it out more. I think the president just announced it, so I'm kind of worried because that means they get money and they're inflating, and all that money, where does it go? It goes back into their accounts, stock buybacks, and all that stuff while they still work on their AI and probably get it under control.
Right.
You know,
But
so
I
uh,
mean, but just like this deep AI thing, right? We know. I mean, we've had like the gentleman from PixieBot. He's a startup. I mean, of course, it's AI driven. You know what I'm saying? He was able to do what he was able to do with a low. He didn't have a couple $100 million to get started with, right?
hmm
We look at the other company. I'm not going to say their name, but they created the shopping app. And bottom line, they were a startup. I mean, so you got startups out there that are creating AI models, right? That have nowhere near the budgets as Google and OpenAI and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, the proof is out there. AI can be done for less. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you look at this new one where you were talking about the other day. That's coming out where they want to charge you. What is it? Was it $200 a week or $200 a month for a subscription?
to get a better AI
Yeah,
that
come on,
reason.
man. Come on,
Yeah,
man. It's just again, it's just they're inflating, the actual cost of this stuff. Just there's a what they sell better on the stock market or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's
they're
just
for profit companies, so that's what they're
right,
gonna do. They're gonna
right.
get profit. Um, you know, and don't get me wrong. I was watching Nvidia, and sometimes I know Nvidia is a good stock, so sometimes I dip in, I check it every day, boom, and then I dip out when it gets to a certain height, let it come down, and I do this process back over and over and stuff, but at a time it went up. It went up to like 148, 150 per share. And when not yesterday, the day before, when I seen this happen, I was like, oh snap. And it went down. It was down to like 118, 116, and I was like, well, what happened? So, I went and searched that up and I was like, man, I gotta go get some stock. It's gonna go back up. But
Well,
it,
maybe,
it's
maybe
in
not, Pedro. I mean, just because of the fact that, like we say, we're showing that it can be done cheaper, right? I mean, and then let's go here. If old boy gets his ways and he, puts some tariffs on, the chips that Nvidia is using,
mm-hmm,
what I'm getting now, that's just more price, more that's going to be tacked on the our end of it, right?
mm-hmm.
Where again, with the Chips Act that was passed a couple of years ago, I mean, there's plenty of available chips here. Otherwise, why would he be putting restrictions on our advanced chips being sold to other countries?
Yeah, yeah, because he wants to slow down the development of AI for other countries like China.
Well,
Also, he says he wants to bring American manufacturing back by putting those tariffs and having these, I guess, companies, and then uh, leaking down to the American public, us as citizens paying extra for computers and other things that are going to use these chips. Even subscriptions might get more expensive when it comes to artificial intelligence. You know.
Well, I mean, and that part being, yeah, I mean, so my point, and let me just bring this around. Maybe I'm calling it full circle, but there, like you just said, okay, subscriptions could go more expensive, right?
Yeah.
And that's based on what it costs to develop the AI, right?
Yes.
But now that we're proving that AI can be done cheaper, it no longer warrants a higher subscription.
Yes. And I'm about to check out that DeepSeek and check that how it's performing and stuff like that. But um, yeah, it is mind blowing. If they could do it at this rate, at this low rate, at the price they did it, you know, cost for it, you think subscriptions will be low, things like that.
Right. I mean, and again, another reason I think that another thing that this is bringing out, especially with these startups, competition, baby. There's putting competition within the AI market. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So these big major companies, or whatever, they're gonna have to step up to the plate and compete with some of these smaller companies, or go back to their old tactics and start buying up these smaller companies
Mm.
and just bringing them up under their umbrella so that they don't eliminate the competition.
Yeah, well, they rather suck up the competition to corner the market to make money instead of having competition and brings lower prices.
Right,
Because when it brings lower prices to us, they lose money in their eyes. Instead of giving us a deal, they're like, no, we're losing money because now we have to provide it this cheaper. We're not making that extra. Like
right,
for example, if it's a subscription of $20, but then it drops down to 10, they're losing half of their income right there of their
Mhm.
subscription. You know?
I mean, I hear you, but again, when it's inflated, I mean, I know corporate America's only worried about their bottom line, but again, this is what happens when you inflate stuff beyond its actual value.
Yeah, yeah.
So all right, well, I guess we run these next set of commercials and hit this last article.
All right, let's go.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shot. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
So before we move on to the next article, I just want to acknowledge Katie says down below that, how are you going to, bring manufacturing back to America when corporate America doesn't want to support unions? Very good question. I mean, that's That's one thing they don't want to do because, well, again, unions cost them money. Unions fight for higher wages.
Yeah.
So it's sad. So
Yeah.
anyway, for those paying attention to the news, we had a tragedy happen yesterday. We had an airplane run into a helicopter, a military I forget the name of it now, but a Black Hawk helicopter in Reagan Airport, and both aircraft plunged into Potomac. So check this out.
Today on Coffee Time, tragedy in the skies, mid-air collision over the Potomac. On the evening of January 29th, 2025, a devastating mid-air collision near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport has left the nation in mourning. An American Airlines regional jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter collided over the Potomac River, resulting in a catastrophic loss of life. As authorities work to uncover the cause, the tragedy raises critical questions about aviation safety and air traffic management. What happened? 2 aircraft were involved in this devastating accident. Airplane passenger jet, a Bombardier CRJ-700, operated by PSA Airlines for American Airlines, was approaching runway 33 at Reagan National Airport. The flight, traveling from Kansas to Washington, D.C., carried 60 passengers and 4 crew members. Military helicopter, a Sikorsky H-60 Black Hawk, carrying 3 U.S. Army personnel, was conducting a training mission in the vicinity of the airport. Small Blue Diamond collision circumstances. The 2 aircraft were under air traffic control guidance at the time of the accident, but details on the sequence of events leading up to the crash remain under investigation. Casualties and recovery efforts. Broken Heart, a devastating loss. Authorities fear that all 67 individuals aboard both aircraft have perished. Water wave challenging rescue conditions. The icy waters and strong currents of the Potomac River have made recovery operations difficult. Search teams are working around the clock to locate wreckage and remains. Black Heart remembering the victims. The names of those lost will be released once families have been notified. This tragedy is being felt across the nation, particularly in the military and aviation communities. Investigating the cause. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, has launched a full-scale investigation into what went wrong. Critical factors being examined include Small Blue Diamond communication failures. Was there a miscommunication between air traffic control and the pilots? Small Blue Diamond airspace coordination. Did the flight paths overlap due to an oversight in control protocols? Small Blue Diamond mechanical issues. Were there any system failures in either aircraft? Authorities are working to recover the flight data recorders, black boxes, which could provide vital information on the moments leading up to the crash. Impact on air travel. In the aftermath of the tragedy, all flights at Reagan National Airport were temporarily suspended. The FAA has initiated a review of flight procedures in shared airspace, particularly concerning military and civilian aircraft operating in close proximity. A painful reminder of past disasters. This collision draws comparisons to Air Florida Flight 90, which crashed into the 14th Street Bridge before plunging into the Potomac River in 1982, killing 78 people. It serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of aviation mishaps and the importance of rigorous safety measures to prevent further loss of life. A national tragedy and a call for reform. This heartbreaking event underscores the urgency of improving aviation safety measures, particularly in shared airspace. As the investigation unfolds, many are calling for enhanced air traffic control procedures and stricter protocols for military and civilian aircraft operating near commercial airports. Join the conversation. How do you think aviation authorities should respond to prevent tragedies like this from happening again? Do current airspace regulations need to be reevaluated? Share your thoughts as we discuss the importance of safety, regulation, and air traffic coordination in preventing future disasters. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their insights.
Well, first, on behalf of Blind United, let me say that, our condolences go out to the families and of the 67 folks that lost their life in this tragedy. I mean, this is truly, truly tragic. And again, I just want to send out our condolences to everyone, connected to this. So, I mean, FAA is doing what they can. I mean, I know it's early on right now, so we don't have a whole lot of information about actually what happened. Uh, I mean, the crazy part is you got Reagan, which technically is in Virginia. For those that may not know, even though it said Washington D.C., it's actually in Alexandria, Virginia. Somewhere in that immediate area is the Army base where the Black Hawk was, starting his training mission from. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're too close together. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got FA, the traffic control, air traffic control. They're supposed to be, in communication with these folks to keep them out of each other's path, right? So, I mean, again, not knowing exactly what happened is really hard, to try to analyze this on our own. So, man, but it's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad that you know, our hearts goes out to those being affected, those families and stuff like that. Yeah, sometimes tragic accidents happen, you know, but I know last year, or was it like what? I think it was like 2 years ago. In some states, some of the hours required to fly some of these jets to get your piloting license got pulled back a little bit. They wanted to get more pilots up there and stuff like that. But you know, we should always take precautions, especially when you know, we should have high demand, meaning high guidelines and hours, and make sure they get the proper training um, for these pilots and things like that, even with equipment, you know.
Right. I
So
mean, we should always err on the side of, caution and safety,
yes.
I mean, again, uh, I mean, I get what you're saying. They want more pilots in the air, whatever, boom, boom, boom. Is it because they have a shortage of pilots, or is it because they want to put more planes in the air to make more money? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm always bringing things around to corporate America, but like this, in the beginning, you heard him saying this was an American airline plane, but in actuality, it was a PSA plane, which I remember PSA. PSA used to operate here in California. But at some point, I guess they started going belly up and American bought them. You know what I'm saying? So they still operating, well, under the PSA thing, but they're owned and operated now by American Airlines, So,
Mm.
again, it's, I
You
don't
know,
know.
and
Go ahead.
I know why you bring it full circle to corporate America, and yes, corporate America has acted in uh uh ways that
Predatory
affected.
way.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. And us as public citizens have been affected. That could be even with the Boeing and not doing their job and building how they should be building these aircraft, or environmental companies dumping waste in our environment. The not wanting to update their drilling mines for oil to get them better, have better oil, drilling clean oil. But all those fumes get caught in our environment, our air, you know. So you hear these stories about corporate America being doing decisive things and affecting the public, So it's always it's always good to have guidelines, and like Ed said, always move in the sense of safety.
I mean, again, here we go. I mean, again, total of 67 people, but bottom line, there was 60 passengers on that plane and four crew members. You know what I'm saying? Gone in one time. You know, I mean, we got some bigger airplanes that like fly transatlantic kind of stuff, whatever. Them planes all hold over 100 people. Look at that Airbus. I think that Airbus holds close to 200 people. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, again, you have to err on the side of caution when you have that many lives. You know what I'm saying?
At stake,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it's at stake. It's your responsibility. When they bought that ticket believing that they were going to be safe on your airplane from one point to the next point. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, I mean, again, it's just truly, truly sad that this kind of stuff happens, man. And
Yeah,
uh,
especially in that industry, especially in that industry, you can cut corners, not in equipment, not in building the plane, and not even on workers. Having fewer pilots or having less staff that manages and cleans tarmacs and all this stuff, you know what I mean? That looks and inspects the planes and stuff like that. You know,
all of
and
that, all of that, I mean, I think back to, my daughter was out here earlier in the month, to come see me and what I was going through at that point. But anyway, when she got ready to fly home, uh, uh, I mean, and I mean, I'm sorry for the delay that she had to deal with. But bottom line, they found out before she got on the plane. The inspectors walking around the plane found out that, oh, we got a bad tire. And you talking about an airplane, you were talking, an airliner or whatever you want to call it, right? It ain't like they can just break out a floor jack and jack it up and change the tire.
hmm
They literally had to pull that plane out of service, and then they had to wait, and her flight got delayed, and bottom line, she didn't get home until like 4 or 5 o'clock the next morning.
hmm
So I mean, I'm thankful for that, but at the same time, I think it was also, if they can get away with putting that plane back in the air, they would have.
hmm
I mean, I truly do. I really think they would have put that plane back in the air. And then who
Most.
knows, once
Hmm.
that plane touched down, who knows what would have happened?
Well, um, yeah, most likely, Ed, they would have put it in the air. For me, I think they would have straight out. Also, a few last year in the end of the year, I don't know if y'all heard, a plane took off and dropped one of his tires, landed on top of a car, destroying the top of the whole car, the roof of the car, and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so you know, and landing. Imagine landing for that plane without one tire. You know.
I mean, again, yeah, once that thing touches down, I mean, it's when it hits the ground, I mean, it's traveling, well over 100 miles an hour, right? And them
Yes.
tires are at a dead stop, and then it hits the ground at 100 miles an hour. I mean, it puts bald spots on them tires. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's a dangerous thing. It's really dangerous. I mean, that type of inspection, safety, all that stuff needs to be taken very, very, very seriously. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Very,
saying?
very seriously. Um, I remember there were a plane crash. It was an overseas plane. But they packed it just enough fuel to get to the destination. But I guess something happened with the plane's instrumentation. They got off course. So they were trying to make it to their destination, but they veered off course that they didn't have enough fuel to get to this destination and they ran into a problem, you know?
Well, I don't know how true it is, but I've been told that, number one, they fill them planes up to capacity when they're sitting at the gate, right?
Okay.
So once they do all their calculations and all that stuff, figure out how much weight they got, distance they got to travel, all this other kind of stuff. Once they get out over the ocean, they actually dump their excess fuel to reduce weight in the aircraft. To me, that's totally stupid. I'd rather get to the next destination with, a quarter tank of fuel, a half a tank of fuel, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have more fuel. Plus, you're dumping jet fuel over the ocean,
In the ocean.
right? You're polluting the ocean with this stuff,
And being wasteful.
and being wasteful as much as jet fuel costs.
Mm-hmm. It,
Come on,
it
man.
seems it's oh my God. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. Corporate America, there is no guidelines. They will do everything they can.
They'll cut every corner they can cut.
Exactly, exactly. And it's true. It's sad to hear that sometimes corporate America does this type of things, cutting corners. The big old thing last year was with Boeing. Few years back was about the brakes on trains. They didn't want to spend money to put these new electric updated brakes. You know, they
Right.
they wanted to keep brakes that have been over 100 years old. The system, instead of updating them, they didn't. They got rid of people that were expecting the trains. And what happened? We had a big old train, a derailment that thousands and thousands of gallons of chemicals got dumped in a town
Yeah.
where people live. They couldn't leave their house for like a whole week or two. They had to wear masks, close all the windows. The river got polluted. The soil got polluted. There were dead fishes everywhere.
I mean, if we had a tragedy happen like that, not 2 miles from where I live right now, a few years back, train was coming off of Cajon Pass up there, and the trains were, when they come down that hill, they put another set of hinges on the tail end of it, right, to help slow it down coming down the hill. But bottom line, the trains hadn't been properly inspected. The engines on the tail end, the brakes were bad.
Mm,
That train came down that hill, got away. It came right here into the city of Muscoy, which is a couple miles from where I live at right now. And it tore up a whole neighborhood. Same thing. All kind of toxic stuff got wasted out onto the streets and all that other kind of stuff. Man, it's just truly, truly sad the way, again, corporate America. If you let them get away with it, they'll get away with whatever we allow them to get away with. So we got to be a lot more vigilant. We got to be, and again, it still comes in back around to, the voting thing, right? We have the right to be able to vote on, have the politicians in there that's going to fight for us and not corporate America, right? When you suppress the vote, now they get to pick and choose who they want to put in office, right? So, I mean, it's a vicious cycle we live in, y'all. So, on that note, Pedro got my closing music going. So, Katie, Tisha, I appreciate y'all for commenting. I appreciate whoever may come check this out a little bit later on. As always, please, whatever platform you're on, whether it be Facebook or whether it be YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, share, all that other kind of good stuff. We really, really appreciate it. And I don't know, you got any words before we get out of Pedro?
no, nothing.
Okay,
Just keep
well,
an
all right.
eye out on corporate America and the steps they want to do, because right now they got a foot into the White House. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So, everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we will see you again on Friday morning. Everybody have a great day.